Assalamu alaikum. Kaifa halukum. Be care. Alhamdulillah. A loving and generous attitude will inherently bring goodness to ourselves and lead us to honor. As exemplified by one of the Mu'minin, who we will learn about next. Who is she? And what is her story? Let's listen to her story. Bismillah. Her original name was Bero, which was changed by the Prophet to Zainab after she became his wife. Her full name is Zainab bint Jahsy bin Riyab al-Asadiyah. She was also known as al-Hakam. This Mu'minin was the daughter of Jahsy bin Riyab bin Osit bin Khuzaimah and Umayma bint Abdul Muttalib bin Hashim bin Abdul Manaf bin Qushay. Her father, Jahsy, was a generous and well-mannered leader of the Quraysh. Her mother, Umayma bint Abdul Muttalib, was the aunt of the Prophet, who converted to Islam early on, and was among the women who migrated with the Prophet. Zainab bint Jahsy was born in Mecca in 33 years before Hijrah. She was known as a Muslim woman who strongly supported the Prophet's mission. She embraced Islam during the Meccan period and migrated to Medina with other Muslims. Before becoming the wife of the Prophet, Zainab bint Jahsy was married to Zayd bin Hereafter, a former slave who had become the Prophet's adopted son. The Prophet himself suggested this marriage. Unfortunately, the marriage between Zainab and Zayd lacked harmony, leading Zayd to frequently consult the Prophet about divorcing her. Although the Prophet initially discouraged this, he eventually allowed Zayd to divorce her, and receiving a revelation from Allah about the divorce, which also made it lawful for an adoptive father to marry the former wife of his adopted son. After Zainab's waiting period ended, Allah revealed in Surah Al-Ahzab, verse 37, "When Zayd had accomplished his purpose concerning her, divorced her, we gave her to you in marriage, O Muhammad." The Prophet then instructed Zayd to propose to Zainab on his behalf. Thus, the marriage, commanded by Allah, took place with the Prophet giving Zainab a dowry of 400 dirhams. This marriage aimed to abolish the prevailing custom that equated adopted sons with biological sons and prohibited former wives from remarrying. This marriage occurred in Dhul Qa'dah, 5 years after Hijrah. Throughout her life, Mu'minin Zainab bint Jahsy was known for creating many job opportunities, especially for people from underprivileged backgrounds. In her daily life, she was skilled in producing goods, such as tanning leather and crafting various handicrafts. One of her craft products was Kirba, a water container made from animal skin for drinking and watering plants. Mu'minin Zainab bint Jahsy was a very beautiful woman, diligent in work, devout in worship, ascetic, scrupulous, practicing the sunnah of the Prophet, and fond of giving charity from her own earnings. She used all the wealth she received to help others. For Zainab, acquiring wealth alone was not a good idea, while others struggled and lost their jobs. She divided her wealth into 2 parts, one for her family and the other for charity and training. She frequently set aside her earnings for the poor, needy, and orphans. During the caliphate of Sayyidina Umar bin Khattab, Zainab bint Jahsh received financial aid from the Baitul Mal managed by the government of Caliph Umar, as did other Mu'minin. However, Zainab viewed this wealth as an opportunity to share and distributed it among the needy, poor, and orphans. Her reluctance to accept wealth from her hard work reached Caliph Umar, who prayed for her. The generosity of Mu'minin Zainab bint Jahsh was evident even during the Prophet's lifetime. The Prophet nicknamed her long-armed, meaning her hands and heart were quick to give. The Prophet said, "The one among you with the longest hands will be the first to meet me." Aisha said, "Then we extended our hands, and Zainab's hands were the longest because of her love for charity." Thanks to her generosity, many poor people, orphans, and needy individuals received help and support from her. Therefore, she became known as Maqval Masakin, the refuge of the poor. Mu'minin Zainab bint Jahsh passed away at the age of 53 and was buried in the Baqi cemetery in Medina. She was the first of the Prophet's wives to pass away after the death of Prophet Muhammad. It is narrated that before she died, she requested that her body be carried to the cemetery on a covered stretcher. When she passed away, she did not leave behind any money, as she had used it all for charity. Even the shroud that was to be provided by Ma, she had instructed to be given in charity. When she died, the only thing she left behind was her house, indicating the extensive charity she had given. Aisha said, "May Allah have mercy on Zainab bint Jahsh. In this world, she achieved unparalleled honor. Allah married her to his Prophet and mentioned her in the Quran. The Prophet once said to us, 'Among you, the one who will join me the soonest is the one who gives the most in charity.' And that was Zainab, who will be his wife in paradise, because she was the first to die among his wives." Her attitudes and example are still very relevant for Muslims today. The wealth that Allah gives to each servant is essentially a trust and a field to continue cultivating good deeds and faith. That concludes our story this time. May the lessons from the life of Mu'minin Zainab bint Jahsh be a valuable lesson for all of us. May we continue to strive in practicing our religion, Islam, as exemplified by the Prophet and his companions, the best generation of this ummah. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow and be pleased with us to remain in the ranks of the followers of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam until paradise. Ameen. Wallahu a'lam bisawab. Wassalamu alaykum.